Good evening, people. Year 2022 is over, so it's time for yet another annual Swarovski collection walkthrough. Last year this took about 20 minutes, so I hope I can get it done sooner this year. I don't have to point out that many ornaments and figurines this year, except some special ones. For example, this clear star ornament, which is according to internet, the fountain of wisdom, that it was a Middle Eastern exclusive. I managed to purchase this from Swarovski.com Finnish website, from outlet. So I'm not sure it's a completely Middle Eastern exclusive. I'm going to be blathering on about collecting, since I don't have to point out that many things. I was asked to talk about cleaning. I'm a bad person to talk about cleaning because we have a 500 square meter house, which is all the time under renovation and full of dust. Swarovski has made many cleaning advice on both YouTube and on their website, and you should follow those. I can say a few things, like the lint-free cloth they talk about. If you purchase one of their bigger, more expensive figurines, you usually get one of those cloths for free with the parcel if you buy directly from Swarovski, but you can just as easily substitute with a normal cloth that is used for wiping glasses, normal eyeglasses, and that works just as well. These are much bigger though, so it's much more handy. Nice white with the Swarovski logo, but normal eyeglass wipes are smaller, but you can just as easily use them, and they're both lint-free. I don't recommend soaking because the glue might give out in the long run. I have no idea how easily the metal parts rust. I doubt very easily, but the glue wasn't meant to be soaked. So don't soak them and don't scrub them. When you're using cleaning materials, cleaning substances, use neutral substances and something that doesn't hold those cleaning particles which are often advertised. Because many times, for example, if you look at the Aurora Boreal coating, that very easily rubs off. And many of these figurines have printed details. For example, the Swarovski Crystal Society animals like cheetahs for 2023 and zebras and so on. There's printed detail, and that gets scrubbed off quite easily. And in worst case scenario, the rubs might even actually scratch the crystal. So it's not meant to be rubbed vigorously. If you have to wash them, wash quickly and dry them fast. If you handle them with your bare hands, wash your hands first, because human hands have grease. Now, otherwise, the advice Swarovski has given there is pretty much solid, so you should follow that. One bit of a sneaky thing I do sometimes, because I have tons of these and many of them are in open shelves like this one, I use canned air. Kind of a, you can buy it at computer stores, computer stuff stores, and bigger warehouses. Ask for canned air and you can basically blow off the dust, but I wouldn't recommend using it directly on especially lighter and smaller figurines. It easily tips them over. So holding them in your hand, you can just blow out the dust. It saves you the time of carrying them into the loo or kitchen and rinsing them. So blowing out the dust works quite well. If I were to use canned air, it's pressurized, so many of these figurines would probably fall over, possibly get damaged. So that's a bit of a tip, but that was the animal shelf. And now we have the bird shelves. As you can see, the basket should be hanging from the beak of the stalk, but I keep it sideways on the side so it doesn't damage the figurine in the long run. One thing that does get asked is why these brown cabinets that don't display Swarovski properly. The new glass cabinets do display them properly, but and show the magical sparkle and whatnot, but my house is very old. It's over 100 years old in parts, and it's creaky wooden dark floors and old antiques, so adding dozens of new modern display cabinets would look strange or ridiculous in my opinion. Another thing is that wooden shelves are actually safer if a figurine happens to fall over. It doesn't get quite as easily damaged compared to if it were to fall or get smashed against a metal or glass shelf. And there's a major rail track some distance from our house, but it tended to shake the house, especially before the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Now there's less traffic because of the blocks, but there's still some shaking, so it's a safety thing. Now, one more thing that I do need to say is that someone asked me if it would be strange for a guy to collect Swarovski, and I say no, it's not, because there's tons of people who want to tell you what you can and cannot collect and what you cannot do based upon your gender. Now, you may be male or female or non-binary. Now, what you collect doesn't change that. It doesn't make you any stranger, and it doesn't make you any worse. You have every right to use your own space and your own money just the way you want it. And I very much appreciate women who collect toy cars or action figurines or action figures. And just the same, I appreciate guys who collect My Little Pony or dolls or Barbie or Swarovski. So don't let anyone dictate what you can or cannot do based upon gender or age. This goes to the elderly people as well. If someone says that you cannot collect something because you're older, don't believe them. It's your money. It's your stuff. Just collect whatever makes you happy. It may be plastic, it may be worthless or worth quite a bit, but don't let anyone tell you. And that's for this display. And then we'll do a short peek at these smaller flowers, which are now in this cabinet. There are quite a few, but not enough. I need more of these. And next we have these big flower shelves. As I showed the smaller flowers earlier. Now, one very frequently asked question, perhaps the most frequently asked question of all, is do I have any extra Swarovski figurines to sell? And the answer is basically yes. But Finnish buyers generally pay with bank transfers or mobile pay, and both those are free for both seller and the buyer, which is why I generally don't advertise outside Finnish marketplaces. Before I move on, that Garden Tales cheese board was my husband's idea on how to best display the Garden Tales figurines, which was actually a pretty good idea. I hate the modern vase that is marketed for them. So it's a cheap but good way. He drilled holes in it. Anyway, yeah. Basically, if you can pay with European bank transfer, and you are aware that Finnish shipping costs are absolutely ridiculous, then basically, yes, I could sell some extras, and yes, you can contact me. I'll leave my email address in the video description for a while. But one thing also you should notice, that my main language is Finnish and my English is barely passable. My Swedish is poor, my German is terrible, and my French atrocious, and anything beyond that requires Google Translate. So keep that in mind. But basically, yes, I do have a selection of both extra figurines and ornaments. But that's that for the flower shelves. And now we have miscellaneous item shelves. One frequently asked question I get is when I post the quarterly annual updates or post photos elsewhere, I get asked how my husband knows which figurines to buy for me as presents. It's not a magic trick. When we spent our first Christmas together in year 2000, I'm going to stop here for just a moment. This figurine, this is a genuine Swarovski. If anyone has any knowledge about this, please let me know. If you have any knowledge about where this is from, the product numbers and release years, please let me know. Anyway, moving on, the first Christmas we spent together in year 2000, we both said, oh, I don't need anything special, I just want you. And then we spent hours upon hours in shops trying to find the perfect Christmas present. And I got presents that I suspect his mother would have appreciated. And considering his mother was the same age as my grandmother, no. And I suspect my presents for him were equally terrible, and neither of us had ever said anything. But after Christmas we sat down and decided there has to be a better way. So after that, we both made a wish list. Kids can write to Santa, and though you know that your personal Santa looks terrible in red and hates gingerbread, you can write to Santa or, well, your spouse. And I made a long list of things I want for my collection, and he made a long list of things he wants for his collection, and the lists are updated all the time. So the lists contain not only the names of items and where to buy, perhaps prices or price guides. He knows the sellers I favor, so he often shops from the same sellers I would buy from. And I have given him every bit of advice on how and when and where to buy Swarovski. And he has given me advice on where to buy books and others that he appreciates himself. So that's the magic trick. There's nothing further to it. You just talk. So if you want to keep receiving the ugly socks and bathrobes and gaudy dangling earrings and whatnot, and keep stressing every Christmas and every birthday and every anniversary about what to buy, don't make a list. But if you want to make it easier, that's a good way. And that's the only trick in the book. Just make a list, give advice and talk. It might be a bad relationship advice, but it has spared us tons and tons of stress over the 20 or so years. And then finally, last but not least, the butterfly aquarium again. I'm hoping that next year I'll manage to move these to a bigger display and move the bugs into this, the crystal bugs. There's not many new things, and not all butterflies fit into this aquarium. As you can see, some of them were held in different displays currently. This does not have enough space for these, the ones I own, let alone the things I still intend to buy. But yeah, that's the annual tour for this time. See you in March. Now, before I upload this year's video for the tour, this is one of the items that might be looking for a new home. The Annual Illusions poster. You can contact me by email if you're interested in acquiring it. And I wanted to show you a few things that I should have before the next quarterly annual update, which should be early April. Now this, I found this in Swarovski's American website. I haven't found this in any other websites, including Australian, European, Asian. This was only available in Canadian and American website in the outlet. So if you have any information about the release years or anything, let me know. The product code is 5658020. I managed to acquire one. This might be a rarer edition, but let me know if it has been available anywhere else, because I am interested, though I purchased it myself. And two other things I will have before March, before the next quarterly annual tour, should be Macy's exclusive ornament for 2021. This is golden shade, not pink, though it sometimes looks that way. And the 2020 ornament exclusive. So I'll have these to show in the next quarterly annual update if all goes well. I hope I'll see you then.